Hello?
Hello.
So now we would like to start our presentation. Our presentation is about what's for lunch, so it's obviously about food. And we'll be looking at Bento from an artistic and technological aspect. So before we get into our presentation, I have a quick question. So, do any of you recognize these characters or logos? Yeah, thank you. I believe most people came up with the idea of Dragon Ball, Pokemon, PlayStation game controller, and Starbucks. But these are not just the picture of those characters or logos. They're actually food that we can eat. So these are called character bento, and we will talk about the details a little bit more later. And from our perspective, bento is not something special, but as for people around the world, it seems to be that bento is an impressive culture. And in Japan, there are like many places, many types of bento that we can try. That is one of our representative culture. But on the other hand, in America, there are original bentos that are slightly different to compared to Japan's. So this will be our contents of our presentation, and especially the second one, the artistic and technological aspects that this one we will focus on, and we would like you guys to know another way of enjoying bento. So first of all, what is bento? Bento is a home-packed meal, which is stuffed in kind of like a lunchbox. And the lunchbox, the bento box, which is the container, is reused every time. And in Japan, there are many places that bento is available. For example, convenience stores, department stores, and even in railway stations. So next we will talk about the history of bento.
Thank you. So now I will be talking about the history. So first of all, bento was created for people to eat outside their home, and food was put into containers as shown in this picture. In the 13th century, people of high rank in Japan began to have fun in their free time by going out for cherry blossom viewing and have a tea party outside. And even these days, cherry blossom viewing is famous among various generations, and in these occasions, bento is necessary. In the 19th century, when subways were first opened in Japan, lunchboxes to eat inside the train, which is called ekiben in Japanese, were introduced. Ekibens are being made all over Japan right now, and each prefecture puts its original characteristics in the bento. Now we will be talking about the purpose of bento.
So we talk about what the bento is, the history of bento, and I'd like to talk about the purpose of bento. So why Japanese people make bento these days? First of all, for nutritionally balanced diet. So if we buy lunch at stores like convenience store or fast food stores, the food we will get tend to contain too much sugar or oil. But if we make bento, we can put the vegetables, rice, meat and fish. So it's possible to make a well-balanced food. So our Japanese consider the bento as a great way to keep our healthy diet. The second reason is students have to bring bento to school. In America, I suppose school lunch is very common, am I right? There is also school lunch in Japan, but there is many schools where students have to bring bento for lunch. So please look at this graph. This graph shows how many percentage of people bring bento for the school or workplace. And as you can see, the great percentage of high school students and junior high school students bring bento to school. The third reason is simply to save money. The people who make bento always use the leftovers from the previous night's supper or lunch, so it's a great way to save money for Japanese people. And then fourth reason is to pursue artistic and technological aspect of bento. These days, our Japanese are no longer be able to satisfy with ordinary bento, which is only made for eating. We want to make it more artistic and creative and convenient by using technology that we have.
I'd like to talk about artistic aspect from character bento culture. In Japan, there are many goods to make character bento easier. I introduce one of these. This is a tool to make panda's figure. It needs just 4 steps. Take rice, press it, push it out, and cut seaweed. Just 4 steps. However, in some kindergartens, character bento is prohibited. There are 3 causes. First, it might be the cause of bullying. Second, cookers tend to keen on making a much more beautiful one, which is mainly rice. As a result, it will be lack of nutrition. Third, cookers touch ingredients with many times and it exposed for a long time, so it will be lack of sanitation. For example, a woman made a character bento of the Winnie Pooh for her son. However, his friend teased him because it was messy. Sadly, Sadly, the kindergarten prohibited character bento because it was the cause of bullying between kids who bring character bento and kids who do not bring character bento.
So we talked about how the bento is a big part of Japanese culture and how many people make it to bring to school, to their workplaces. And Riko-san just explained about the artistic aspect of bento, and now I'd like to talk about the technological aspect of bento and how the bento industry is evolving. Okay, so I'm sure you're all familiar with getting pizza deliveries. How many of you have ever had pizza delivered to your homes? Thank you. Did you know that in Japan you can get bento delivered to your homes? So getting bento deliveries is especially popular among the elderly who are no longer able to cook, or people with conditions such as diabetes, because there are special bento for such people. Getting bento deliveries is also it's also common if you're hosting an event or like a ceremony at home that's related to like funeral related ceremonies or weddings. So it's not necessarily just for This is an advertisement of a bento delivery place, and as you can see, this company emphasizes on how their bentos are safe and healthy. And so Monday to Friday, that's bento of the day, so you won't get bored of it even if you keep on eating bento every day. Now I'd like to talk about the functional aspect of bento boxes. So it's common that your rice gets cold. The rice, if you bring rice in like a container to eat at school or to your workplace. But in recent years, containers that can like retain heat have been invented so your rice won't get cold. You can think of it as a sort of a thermos that keeps your soup or coffee warm. Okay, this is a store-bought bento box, and it has an instant heating device inside. If you pull the string that's attached to the bento box, a chemical reaction takes place and your bento heats up instantly. So the particles, in case you're interested, it's calcium oxide, and when the chemical reaction takes place, it becomes calcium hydroxide. And what I thought was really interesting about this heating device is that because they're natural, after it's been used, it can be recycled and be made into fertilizers, so it's really eco-friendly.
I'd like to talk about the exportation of Japanese bento culture. Nowadays, the concept of bento is getting famous, and you can see a lot of bento in the world. Interestingly, the bento develops independently from the Japanese bento itself, especially its content. The the bento sold in America is different from the Japanese bento as we know. As an example, in Japan, I've never seen bento with rice and sushi in the lunchbox at the same time. Therefore, the different style of bento is interesting for us since the uniqueness. Next, I'd like to talk about the future of bento. The bento in America and Japan might be different, but different is not always bad. We think that the answer might be localization, which means the products or service designed to benefit a local market while at the same time being developed and distributed on a global level. We should be proud more Japanese bento culture because the bento is not only to eat but also to entertain, just like the character bento we talked about. We hope to see more Japanese bento culture to change the needs of the local and accepted by different countries around the world. So please try making the Japanese bento at your own home or try Japanese bento as well. Thank you for being such a good audience.